So after the animator in our movie selects the character, they're going to convert it to a symbol. That means we're going to need the Create Symbol dialog box, so let's make a new layer and frame for that to come up. Then I'll just select and hit F8 to bring up the symbol dialog box. We'll screen cap this and take it to Photoshop, and I'll just paste it over top here. Then I'll make a nice tight selection and Control-C to copy. Then I'll hit Cancel to get rid of the real dialog box and paste in our bitmap version. You know, now that we're getting so many bitmaps, I should probably go through and name all these. Okay, now all these are named, and let's set the dialog box bitmap to lossless. Now we want to animate the text changing, so let's turn the bitmap into a symbol by using F8. And the real symbol dialog box, let's call it Convert to Symbol, and go inside. We'll make a new layer over top to work on, and we'll cover the text in the box with this gray background color in the text box. So I'll sample that color, turn off the stroke, and draw a rectangle. Oops, need to turn the opacity back up to 100 on the fill color. Then let's expand the timeline here so the text doesn't get covered till a few frames later. So now we need to actually add our text, which means we need to find the font that matches the text field here. I'm going to switch to the text tool to get our list of fonts. And before trying to match up the fonts, I'm going to set the anti-alias setting to Use Device Fonts. That will make it look more similar to the UI. Now the labels on this window use Segoe UI, but the text in the box is actually Tahoma. Now that we have the right font, let's change it to the name we want, Victim. And now cut and paste that to a new layer above everything on a frame over the gray we just added. Then to make it type out, I'm going to use F6 to add keyframes and backspace a letter off the end each time. Then we just select those and go to Modify, Timeline, Reverse Frames. And I'll just add some extra frames to make it type out a little slower. Now we just need a vertical line to be the typing cursor on a new layer above everything. I'll use the line tool to make a vertical line, change it to black, and then let's make it a symbol so we can animate it blinking. I'll just call it type_line. Then inside I'll just add an empty keyframe out here and add extra frames to extend it. And actually let's copy that line and make it that gray background color instead of actually having that frame empty. That would make it hard to select that symbol on the main timeline if it had empty frames. So now we need to position it each frame, and it wouldn't flash while typing, so we'll set its looping to single frame. And then make keyframes and position it to match the text. Then at the end we can add a bunch of frames, and now the cursor can blink. So let's set the looping to loop. So that's the typing done. Next the animator needs to hit the OK button. So we need to get the hover color for that. Let's F8 to bring up the real symbol window again. Hover on the button and screen cap, then cancel to get rid of it. Then I'll make another layer and paste the OK button here. I'll name the bitmap right away this time and change the bitmap settings. Then we just need to line that up. Next we need to screen cap the button when it's pressed down. So I'll bring up the symbol window, press the button and capture that. Make an empty frame and paste that in. Line it up. Label it. Set the properties. Align a little more. And perfect. Now the big thing we're missing is the drop shadow under the window. There's a number of ways you could go with that, but I think the way I want to go is just temporarily in the properties, change the symbol to a movie clip, which lets us add a drop shadow filter. Then let's take a look at the real symbol window to get an idea for how big and blurred the drop shadow is. Let's set the quality to high, then up the blur a lot to like 30, and bring the strength all the way down to 46%. Now that that looks right, let's duplicate the keyframe. And on this first one, go to Modify, Convert to Bitmap. And that bitmap will be what we do the fade in animation on. So let's add some frames to make room for animation. Then we need to convert that new bitmap to a symbol. Call it convert to symbol underscore fade. Add a key at the end. And at the start, set the symbol's alpha to 0. And add a classic tween. And we also want to start slightly smaller. And make the tween ease out. And make it faster. So now that looks good. And when it finishes, it switches to the symbol with the typing animation in it, which we need to set back to a graphic symbol so we can control the frames in the looping settings. But of course we lose the drop shadow on that symbol when we do that. So we make a layer above and move it there. Now we get the shadow from the bitmap copy underneath. So now let's find the frame where the OK changes to the hover state, because we need the cursor to move to that position at that point. Then this is where he clicks it, but I guess we don't actually need a keyframe there. We do need a keyframe for the start of the move, and a classic tween, and set the easing to ease in out quad. And let's put the cursor layer over top of everything. Let's adjust the timing a little so the button changes states as the arrow first enters it. Then when the button is pressed, we want the window to fade out. To do that properly, we actually need to make a keyframe for both of these. Select them both and convert them to a bitmap. Then we need to convert that to a symbol. Convert to symbol, fade out. Then we can add another keyframe, shrink it, bring the alpha to 0, and add the tween with classic ease out. And let's see what that looks like. Good. Now the last thing is, now that he's a symbol, he would only have a single selection box around him. First, let's make an empty frame here, so that invisible symbol isn't in the way. So inside the stick figure symbol, we'll make another frame on each layer. Get rid of all the selection boxes. Except this one, we'll just scale up to select everything. Scale it so it's tight on each edge. And now he's going to need the anchor point dot in the middle because he's a symbol. So let's recreate that. I can't screen cap this one because it's over black. So let's make a random circle here and make it a symbol. Now I can screen cap this anchor point and we can see the black circle around the outside. Delete that symbol, we don't need it. And back in the stick figure, make a new layer and paste the dot above the big selection. Set its properties. And I think we should just trace a vector version of this. So I'll get the circle tool, change the fill to white and the stroke to black. Then make a temporary layer above. Hide the circle so we can trace the X with the line tool. I'll set the cap style on those to none to match the square edges. Get the size just right. Then turn the circle back on. Select those layers and convert to symbol. Call it anchor point. Put the frame here. Delete the empty layer and the one with the bitmap reference. And there's our selected symbol. Then back on the main timeline, after the dialog box finishes, we'll set the frame for the stick figure to the one we just made. So now he's a symbol. The next step is he's going to drop to the ground and the animation can really get started. We'll do that in the next video.